Hello, welcome to today's moment with the chaplain, with the 19th Engineering Battalion. It is my pleasure to have one of, a crusader of the gospel of Jesus Christ in the ministry for soldiers and, helping soldiers learning how to become who God has created them to become here on earth as they, find meanings to why they're here on earth, why things happen. So through the ministry of music, without further ado, I would like to introduce crew music band led by Justin Stone.
All right.
Yes.
All right. Thank you so much, Chaplain. Can you put your hands together with me like this? We worked on this already, right? Good. Go. Rebels in the wilderness, we can't find what we need. The rest is from the searching, it all down in between. Like the books we see in the matador, is the men of the hills on schemes. Everybody needs someone beside them, shining like a lighthouse from the sea. Hey! Brother, let me be your shelter. Let me be your love. I can be the one you call when you're low. Brother, let me be your fortress when the night wind come and go. Be the one that lights your way when you're home. Face down in the desert now, there's a cage locked around my heart. I found a way to drop the keys when my failures were. Now my hands can reach that far. Oh, I ain't made for rivalry. I can never take the world alone. I know that in my weakness I am strong, but it's your love that brings me home. Hey! Brother, let me be your shelter. Never leave you all alone. I could be the one you call when you're low. Brother, let me be your fortress in the night when you're running low. Be the one that lights you way when you're low. And when you call and need me near, saying where'd you go? Brother, I'm right here. And all those days when the skies begin to fall, you're the blood of my blood. We can get through it all. Brother, let me be your shelter. Never leave you all alone. I could be the one you call when you're low. Brother, let me be your fortress when the night winds are driving low. Be the one that lights your way, gonna bring you home. Brother, let me be your shelter. Never leave you all alone. I could be the one you call when you're low. Brother, let me be your fortress when the night winds are driving low. Be the one that lights your way when you're low. Be the one that lights your way, gonna bring you home.
Hallelujah!
All right. Thank you so much.
That was good.
I'm so glad to be here and share some of my story with y'all and some music as well. Thank you so much for coming out today. I'm thankful for a little bit of a cool breeze to help us, and thankful for this shelter too in the cover that keeps us a whole lot cooler than it would be otherwise. Thank you so much for singing along. In that vein, if you know this next song, feel free to sing along with me if you know it. time I feel there's no one to save me. This all or nothing really got away, driving me crazy. I need somebody to hear, somebody to know, somebody to have, somebody to hold. It's easy to say, but it's never the same. I guess I kinda like the way you numbed all the pain. Now the day bleeds into nightfall, and you're not here to get me through it all. I let my guard down, and then you pull the rug. I was getting kinda used to being someone you love. I'm going under, and this time I feel there's no one to turn to. This all or nothing way of love got me sleeping without you. I need somebody to know, somebody to hear, somebody to have, just to know how it feels. It's easy to say, but it's never the same. I guess I kinda like the way you help me escape. Now the day bleeds into nightfall, and you're not here to get me through it all. I let my guard down, and you're not here to get me through it all. I let my guard down, and then you pull the rug. I was getting kinda used to being someone you love. Let my guard down, then you pull the rug. I was getting kinda used to being someone you love. Thank you. You know, like that song says, we all long for someone to love us and to be loved. And I didn't come here just to sing. I wanted to share part of my story as well. And I picked that song because it has a little bit to do with my story. That song says that we long for someone to love us and we want to love other people. But in doing so, our relationships can get messy or complicated, right?
Right.
And actually, a complicated relationship that I had in my life was with my dad. I'm probably not the first son or child that's had a complicated relationship with their dad. And I have many great things I can say about my dad, but it definitely felt like there was a lot of times where we didn't see eye to eye. We kind of butted heads sometimes. Nevertheless, I do have some great memories with my dad. Let me share one. There was one time I was in college and my sister had given me some furniture that she didn't need anymore. And so we needed to get it up to where I was in college. And so what would most people do? They would rent a moving van, box truck, something like that. And, you know, throw the stuff in there and bring it up to me where I was, right? Not my dad. My dad decided that since he probably needed one anyway, it would be a great idea if he would buy a cattle trailer for cows and put cows in the cattle trailer. Let them do what they do. There's no porta potty on a cattle trailer, just in case you didn't know. Cows don't know how to use one of those anyway. And so he hauled cattle in it and then just gave it a little rinse out, you know. And then he's like, oh yeah, this will be great. I can haul your furniture in this. I'm like, no, Dad, please don't do that. Well, it became abundantly closer when I took one step off of campus. My house was pretty close. And I looked off in the distance and I saw this cattle trailer backed up to my buddy's, my neighbor buddy, to his front door, because it couldn't be my front door. It had to be somebody else's, because of course my neighbor buddy, you know, his dad probably decided that he needed some furniture and he wanted to haul it in a cattle trailer. Couldn't be my front door. But with every step, as closer and closer I get, I realize, yeah, that's my house. That's not my neighbor buddy's house. That's my house, and I now know more than I want to know. In fact, the cattle trailer was backed up so close to my front door, it looked like that cows lived at my house. And they had decided to go on a little vacation, and so they were just going to walk right out of the house and into the trailer and, you know, go to wherever they go. Cows go for vacation. I don't know where they go. But anyway, so by the time I got there, I was so embarrassed, I didn't want to unload the trailer. I actually wanted to crawl under it. Nevertheless, I did leave out a detail. This was Texas. And so sometimes that goes with the territory. My dad had actually got my furniture to me in great condition, and he had individually wrapped each piece so that it arrived well. So he got it to me, but he just didn't do it the way that I would have done it. So we didn't see eye to eye on everything. There was a little bit more difficult time. When I was around 15, I had an old school computer. Think the big boxes, you know, they were so heavy you could knock out somebody with them. And my dad was convinced that my computer was interfering with our phones. And I was like, no, Dad, it's not. But without hardly a word to me, he goes into my bedroom and in one move just yanks the power cord right out of the wall. Well, that could ruin my computer or make me lose data, whatever. But the main thing I was thinking right when he did that was like, do you not trust me? You know, do you not think that I know how this works? And, you know, what's going on? Just respect a little bit, I guess. So I thought I had pretty well moved past those types of things by the time I was in college. But I remember there was a time my buddies would get phone calls from their dads asking how they were doing. And I would wonder, why doesn't my dad call me? I knew that my dad would get updates about me from my mom, but it didn't feel the same as him calling me directly. And so all these things began to make me wonder that something wasn't right. Where should I begin to tell you how I feel? The pain of the years has me broken. Father, I need you in my life to catch all these tears that I hide. Something inside me needs you now. Just a lonely kid trying my best to fit in. I left at 17, but I needed tell you how I feel. The pain of the years has me broken. Thank you.
Beautiful.
Did you write that one?
Is it a personal? It sounds really, really great.
That's awesome.
Yeah, thank you so much. I'm gonna sit down if it's okay.
That's okay.
So I wrote that song during the time of contemplating my relationship with my dad. I'm sure probably most of us can imagine what it feels like when a relationship is strained or broken. And at that time, I knew I was broken and calling for help. And so in typical Justin Stone fashion, I decided to tackle the problem head on. And so that began a 2-year period of my life in weekly counseling. During that time, I felt like my chest was ripped open and every negative experience was wrenched out, examined, repaired, and thrust back in place. During my darkest moments, just getting out of bed in the morning felt like pulling up glue from the floor. Going to work caused me even more anxiety, where I had to interact with multiple people, often at once, and I didn't really feel like I had the energy to interact with one person, much less 10. At my lowest point, I drove to work one day, and I sat in my car just like this, and I didn't get out. And I really didn't believe that I had the emotional capacity to do my job that day. But a remarkable thing happened as I began to walk through that stuff with my counselor. I began to understand that my dad was human too. And as a human, my dad could not fill all the holes that I had. I began to see that it was ironic, but since my dad was a human and couldn't fulfill my expectations, I began to see that my expectations couldn't be filled by an earthly relationship at all. In fact, the expectations that I had could only be filled by Jesus. Now, I recognize that all of us are in different places in our understanding of who Jesus is, and that's okay. No matter where you are in your journey, I'm glad you're here. Earlier, I said that all of us are created to love and to be loved, and it was an understanding of how much Jesus loved me and how much I needed to be rescued that began the healing process in my life. You are not hidden. There's never been a moment you were forgotten. You are not hopeless. Though you have been broken, your innocence stolen. I hear you whisper underneath your breath. I hear your SOS, your SOS. And I will send out an army to find you in the middle of the darkest night. It's true. Oh, I will rescue you. There is no distance you I hear you whisper you have nothing in you. But I will send out an army to find you in the middle of the darkest night. It's true. Oh, I will rescue you. Oh, and I will never stop marching to reach you in the middle of the hardest fight. It's true. Oh, I will rescue you. Oh, I will rescue. Thank you so much. You see, as a child, I had been taught that Jesus loved me and cared about me. And at the time, I had made a decision to follow him. But it was actually during those 2 years of counseling, I was driven to a point of actually realizing how much I needed him in my life. At that time, I began to realize my brokenness and my imperfections. I began to realize that God had loved me all along. He had pursued me, forgiven me, and I didn't have to perform anymore to earn his love. God had loved me in spite of my faults all along. And God's gift of Jesus had provided the healing for my brokenness. We all live in a broken, imperfect world. And we all contribute to and experience the brokenness in the world around us. The brokenness that we experience is a result of our separation from God, or as the Bible calls it, sin. And the truth is, someone or something had to bridge the gap between us and God. And I'm here to tell you, Jesus Christ is that bridge. Jesus offers us the unlimited forgiveness, acceptance, and unconditional love that we all long for and need. And he offers us peace that can't be found anywhere else. Not just to me, but to you as well. And so that begs the question, how does one accept Jesus? I recognize that some of us here might say, dude, thanks for the music, I'm out. Others might say, I'd like to know more about Jesus. While still more of us might say, I'd like to begin a relationship with Jesus right now. Give me just a minute to explain, for those of you who would like to begin a relationship with Jesus, how I did it. I'm easy. I like the ABCs. A stands for admit. We have to admit that we've done wrong things and ask for God's forgiveness. B, we have to believe that Jesus died to set us free and he has the power to take away our sin. C, we have to commit our lives to follow him. So A for admit, B for believe, and C for commit. Let me say it another way. Who all here likes toys and gadgets? I think that's all of us, right? As we get older, they change into bigger and bigger toys, but we still like toys, right? Especially the guys. So I can get online and buy you some toy or gadget you've been looking for. I can have it shipped right to your door. But if you leave it on your porch, and you never actually open it, does it do you any good?
Not really.
Not really.
Maybe a bit of sense of
It
mind.
doesn't.
A little bit of
Right.
sense of mind that.
It doesn't do you any good. Okay? So in the same way, God provided the gift of Jesus. But what we do with that is up to us. If you would like to accept Jesus today, you can pray with me right now. Remember that it's not a specific formula of words, but rather it's an attitude of your heart. It's what's going on in here. If you would like to pray with me right now, you can say something like this. It doesn't have to be out loud. Jesus, thank you for loving me. I admit that I have done wrong things, and I ask for your forgiveness. I believe that you died to set me free, and you have the power to take away my sin. I commit my life to follow you. Jesus, thank you that you love me. Amen.
Amen.
Folks, I would love to know what you thought about the program today. We have provided some cards that you can fill out there.